Okay, so welcome back to this new section. We're gonna talk about EC2 instance storage, and this is just something simple that you need to understand, nothing complex. Now, before I talk about this deeply, I like to make sure that you understand it from a perspective. I like to use analogies so you'd actually understand what this topic is all about. Well, I'm pretty sure that we've so far learned how to create a virtual computer in EC2, and I mean in AWS. And to create a virtual computer, you simply have to create an EC2 instance, remember. And while we created a virtual computer, we actually converted this to a virtual server by simply writing this bunch of code here. Even if you don't understand it, at least when you are done, you see something like hello world from then your IP. Okay, so we converted our virtual computer into a virtual server, right? But this virtual computer, if you wanted to actually create this virtual computer, you have to click on EC2, and then once you are in EC2 here, you have to click on launch instance. And then when you click on launch instance, you actually need to do some couple of setups, like putting in the name of the instance, selecting the AMI, the Amazon Machine Image. You have to select the instance type, that is the CPU, the performance, the RAM, the key pair, the network settings. But at some point you see where we have configure storage. Now this configure storage, well, this is more like what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this storage, think of this storage as, say, like you have a laptop, and then inside every laptop which you can usually have, it usually comes with this sort of drive inside it, just like you would have a phone, and then it comes with its own storage, right? Okay, so for laptops, it has its own storage, more like what we call an HDD. They call it a hard disk drive, or you could have an SSD. So it could be two types, HDD or SSD. And by the way, SSD is much more stronger, right? So, well, that's simply what we're also talking about here in this case. We simply want to talk about the storage that actually we can use in EC2 in our virtual computer, right? And we have these different types of storage, by the way. Okay, but the one I'm simply gonna talk about is this one called the EBS store. And just to show you, there are different storage types. We have the Amazon EBS, the Amazon S3, Amazon EFS, and you can see the couple of different other ones, right? But the one we'll focus more on for this particular section is this one. Later in the course, we'll talk about Amazon S3 and so on. Okay, so this Amazon EBS, let's dive into it. Now, the Amazon EBS, first of all, it stands for Elastic Block Store. And this Elastic Block Store is a persistent block storage service used in store data in EC2 instance. Don't worry about that grammar, but let's break it down. The reason why it's called EBS or Elastic Block Store is because of, first of all, it can be resized. Okay, so as you have more couple of different files inside it, you can also resize it, but not by yourself. It does that automatically. Okay, and it is actually called block because it behaves like a hard disk, just like the hard disk in your laptop, right? And then, well, we have the store, which actually, well, means it holds data. Okay, so this is just it in simple terms, and it is not used to store files or pictures. It's more used to actually store operating systems like Windows, like your Mac, or if you just want to maybe store databases or application data. Okay, that's more what EBS is used for. If you probably want to, well, store images, videos, or backups, well, there's a different kind of storage much better for that. Okay, so you get the idea right now, right? Now, to simplify this EBS is actually a persistent block storage service used to store data from EC2 instance. And I simply mean that, well, you can decide to keep it off there. You can't just have this EBS all alone. You need to attach it to an EC2 instance, right? And this EC2 instance, let's say you deleted it, well, you can still maintain this EBS. You can still maintain your storage even though you deleted your instance, right? Because usually it's just like you actually sold your laptop, then you are selling the hard disk, everything with it, right? But what you can actually do is to remove the hard disk inside of your laptop. So it's the similar concept here. So when you delete your EC2 instance, for example, you can still decide to maintain the storage, the elastic block store, right? That's what we mean by persistent block storage. Okay, and I've given you a scenario. You should just think of it as like a hard drive that you attach to a virtual computer, to your EC2 in the cloud. Now, these are just some basic concepts that you need to know about elastic block store, which I've said multiple times, that this your block storage or your EBS, it just behaves like a disk, just like the one in your laptop. Okay, but it's not used to store pictures or images. It's more used to store or set up your operating systems, or store databases or application data. And persistent simply means that data survives even if you start or stop your instance, or even if you delete your EC2 instance, that is your virtual computer on AWS, you can still maintain the EBS. Okay, and then it is also attachable. And what I mean by attachable is, well, we don't, if you would really need an elastic block store, it doesn't mean that somebody has to go to where you rented your computer, where you rented your virtual computer, and they go and fix it for you inside your own computer, right? It is actually network attached. We'll talk about that later. Okay, just know that anything you're getting in AWS, you can get it in seconds, and nobody is trying to go to your computer where it is to plug it in. Okay, everything is programmed. So whenever you actually get a computer and you get a hard drive, everything is attached, together. All right, so we'll talk about that deeply. And then lastly, one important thing you need to know is it is AZ bound, which means that if you actually want to make this simple, by the way, so you actually understand what I mean. And when I said it is AZ bound, you should first of all understand what region is. Okay, a region is like, think of it as a big, really warehouse. Okay, and then inside of this warehouse we have multiple availability zones inside it. Okay, and multiple availability zones that store different servers or different computers, right? So let's say this availability zone is actually maybe London. Okay, right? So inside London you can have something like EU West 1A. That's like a big data center on its own. You could have another one on its own, and so on and so forth, right? So all of these are just called availability zones. Okay, so each of these data centers here are called availability zones in London. Okay, so what I'm saying is that if you are going to be creating an EBS, okay, you can only create an EBS in only one availability zone. Or if you created it in one availability zone, okay, you can't use it in a different availability zone. So it is only locked to just one availability zone only. That's what I mean. Okay, so just like this example now, you could have 3 availability zones. If you created your EBS in this availability zone, you can't decide to say you want to use it in this availability zone, right? And that's because your virtual computer is created here. Okay, maybe that was where you created it, and then that's where you need to also create an EBS. It's just like a hard drive. If you wanted maybe more space of EBS, maybe you wanted 4 gigabytes of EBS as well. Okay, well, you simply actually have to create it in this availability zone so that you can attach it in simple ways. If you created it in a different availability zone, you can't use it for a different availability zone. Okay, so we'll get deeper into that, but this is just it in simple terms. And again, just to break it down even simpler, I already explained it, that imagine your EC2 is your laptop. Okay, the storage that actually handles your Windows, that installs your Windows for you, pictures, everything on your system, right? That's like your EBS. Okay, but in computers we call it SSD or HDD. Okay, but here we would call it EBS instead. Okay, and one thing is, let's say you deleted your laptop or you sold your laptop, you could decide to remove the HDD because your files are on it, right? So it's the same concept here. If you deleted your EC2 on AWS, well, you can decide to delete it with the EBS, or you can decide to maintain it if you want. Okay, so we'll practice that soon and you'll see how that works. And then these are the different types of EBS that we have. Okay, so we'll talk about them, but this one starting with the GP, okay, which means general purpose, and this is the most common one. If you just want to basically use it for no specific reason, you can just go with that. We have this one which starts with the I, okay, it means high performance, and this is more used for databases. We have this STI, SC, and so on, and this is cheap and slow, and this is like an older one, right? Okay, so when you launch an EC2 instance in AWS automatically gives you an EBS volume. Remember how I just showed you guys just now. So this is me trying to create an instance here. Okay, it automatically configures an EBS volume for you, right? So we'll come back to this in a second. Okay, and that's the storage where your operating system lives, where your Linux or your Windows or whatever AMI you've selected, that's where they all live, right? So even though you've stopped your instance, okay, it's still there, right? And even if you delete your instance, you can decide to also delete the EBS volume along with it or not. Okay, so that's simply it in simple terms. And I've already talked about these different types of storage in AWS as well. Okay, so again, we're only focusing on this one, which is more for operating systems, or if you want to store database or basically application data. Okay, so to summarize it, this EBS again stands for Elastic Block Store Volume, and it is a network drive. Okay, I just mentioned what network drive is. Okay, network drive just simply means you attach it through the network. Okay, again, it doesn't mean somebody goes to where you have your virtual computer. Okay, everything is programmatically written. Okay, so if you wanted something right now, and this is like your computer, maybe you wanted more storage, you need to save more stuffs on it. If you actually get it on AWS, AWS just gives you everything through network, right? You don't have to be physically there, or anybody doesn't have to go to where your virtual computer is to attach it for you. So it's all done through the network. Okay, so that's what we mean by it's a network drive, and you can attach your instances while they run. And it also allows your instance to persist data even after termination. So just like I've said it multiple times, you can usually just keep your EBS volume and delete your instance if you want to, and they can be mounted to one instance at a time. That is, if you actually create an EBS volume, let's say this is like your laptop here, and let's say the storage is full, you need to create more EBS volume. Let's say the one you created was 4 GB of storage, right? You can only attach it to one computer, okay, or to one virtual computer at once, right? You can't have two computers and then attach it. Okay, that doesn't work that way. Okay, but that's still possible though, using what we call a snapshot. Okay, but at our cloud computing practitioner level, just know that it can only be attached to one computer right now. Okay, and they are bound to a specific availability zone, which simply means that if you created it in an availability zone like EU West 1A, like I explained earlier already, you can only use that storage in EU West 1A. Okay, so you can't use it in EU West 1B. We'll practice that in a second. And I already talked about what a region is. A region could have multiple availability zones. Okay, so you get the idea. And I think that's just basically it. So you usually get a 30 GB free of EBS storage, which is usually general purpose, and it's usually SSD because it's more faster. Okay, so in summary, the EBS volume is a network drive, not a physical drive. You don't physically see it, and they don't physically connect it, so it's network attached. Okay, so it uses the network to communicate instance, which means there might be a bit of latency in this case. Okay, and you can detach it, or you can attach it to any instance that you want, as long as they are all in the same availability zone. Okay, good. And it is again locked to one availability zone. So just like I said already, an EBS volume in EU West 1A cannot be attached to EU West 1B. It doesn't work that way, but that's still possible by using what we call a snapshot, or by creating a snapshot. Even though you still want to put it in EU West 1B, you need to create what we call a snapshot. We'll also talk about that. Okay, and then you get billed for the capacity. So the more size, or the more it increases, the more you pay for it. Okay, so like I finally want to explain in diagram that one EBS can only be attached to one instance. So this is your EC2 instance, and you can only attach one EBS volume to it. So we are attaching a 10 gigabytes. Okay, maybe we wanted more, that's why we need to create this EBS. Okay, but I also said it is also possible to attach two EBS volume to one instance, right? So but that's by creating a snapshot, by the way. Okay, but for now we are not doing that. And one interesting thing already is that when you create this already, again, you can attach an EBS volume, and you can create an EBS volume and just leave it there for maybe later. Okay, you don't necessarily need to attach it to any instance. Okay, and I already explained that if you create an EBS volume here, you cannot use it in a different availability zone, so it does not work that way. Okay, but I'll show us how to do it using what we call a snapshot, by creating a snapshot. And one thing about EBS is that you can delete on termination. Okay, that is, if you want to delete your instance, your instance has a storage, right? Just like a hard drive that comes with your system, right? So if you deleted your instance, you can decide to also delete the EBS on termination. That is, you should also delete the EBS with it if you want to do that. Okay, so by default the termination is always on, which means if you delete your instance, it also deletes the EBS, but you can toggle that off if you need to. So let's just do some hands-on in this case. You can come back watching it to understand even better. So we are going to be creating an EBS volume right now and attach it to our instance.